It could be on Wario Land. There we go. Let's see if I can get Twitch Free Manager open. Okay. So, well, let's to keep up to date. So, the way the shuffler works, you have to manually mark games as complete once you beat them to get them removed from the shuffler. And I've been doing that with oh, this will be at the beginning of the level. So I've been doing that with games that, oh, that's a negative coin, right? But basically with games that aren't working properly, I've been removing them through Shuffler until I can get them working. But I wasn't sure how to add them back. So the file that I had tried to clear them out of, I suspect that one's not correct. So we're going to see, hopefully this time, if I think Dragon Ball was one of the big ones. I put back Sin Punishment just to see if maybe it's a crapshoot if it works or not, because I thought I did have it working. It wasn't starting up before. And there's one last one, Haunted Castle, which I didn't put a fix on. It's just I'm not sure why it wasn't working to begin with. So Wario Land, if you're not that familiar with it, it's an exploration platformer. I believe it's a Gunpei Yokoi game, which would put it in relationship to Metroid, but I don't think it's... I personally wouldn't call it a Metroidvania. Ah, nice. It's in the corner. Usually I'm looking more towards the top left. So if it's over there, it's easier for me to see. This is where my eyes go, I think. But the focus is less on the obstacle course and more on finding, surfing around for treasure. Which is why the you being invincible works, because you being... The concern isn't that you die in this game. The concern is that you don't find everything. Although that does make it a little bit questionable, I think, for the shuffler, because it's hard to visualize. Are we going to take damage regularly in a game like this? And at least in its early stage, it doesn't seem like constantly under threat. I think maybe later on it might be a bigger deal, but I'm not sure. Enemies also tend to be kind of tools in this game. Oh. It's interesting seeing this game on arcade pits because people tend to just pick it thinking, oh, it's like Mario probably. I know how to play Mario. And then it turns out they don't actually know how to progress in this because they're playing it as a very different style of game. Where the heck am I going? Oh, wait. I know what happened. So my problem... Okay, I don't need to destroy the chicken. I need to stun this chicken. Because my goal was actually to bring this chicken who had escaped back to the... I don't know what this is, a hen house? A roost? Hey, come back here. Where's the big egg fan? Be 9, be 8. Could be anything but 8s. It's not a 0, it's not a 1, not a 2. Could be a 3. Okay, this can't be anything but a 3, right? Can't be a 4, can't be a 5. No. Sometimes they tend to jump the gun on which number it is. It is an easy puzzle if you're just paying it enough attention, though. And I guess if you know Latin number, Arabic numbers. So this guy, let's see how he affects us. Or, so I believe in the Japanese version, he throws beer. Which turns you into this backward stumbling, gas spitting Wario. I guess we could have a shuffle on that. That's a setback, right? I don't know if there's a positive usage for that. Maybe there is. That's a complex factor in this game is that sometimes the way it punishes you is it gives you a power-up that is not necessarily negative, but it just happens to be not what you want at the moment. I shouldn't have blown that guy up. I want an enemy. Could use you. You could have it, I guess, so that if there are specific power-ups that are never used in a positive way, like never used to progress, then getting that transformation would shuffle you, but I guess we should explore this a little bit more to figure out if that's the case. Maybe I'll put a note on that, actually. Uh-oh. It's gonna happen again. I just put a note saying maybe we can shuffle on Drunk Wario. I think up here... Yeah. There's some more blocks I could break. Failing that... Just 2 more areas to explore here. I think because Wario... Maybe because this is a relatively easy game to avoid shuffling in. Maybe I should be more focused on progression. Oops. There, yeah. Somewhere over here, right? No. See, if it's not on the top left, then I don't really notice. Uh-oh. I don't have the money. Don't let you back out, Bubble. I'm only going to shove for a fraction of a second. Sometimes we can see it. Nope. Okay, I'll settle for missing it this time. Okay, let's head out. Oh, that reminds me. Let's put retro achievements on. I'm just gonna back out. In case there's one for beating this stage. I forgot to put it on for most of the session last time, but it's not a big deal. It's softcore retro achievements, so it doesn't go towards my main score either. And it's not like anyone but me can see it, so... Or can see what the achievements are, because it's not showing up in the emulator. This is either a 5 or a 6. There we are. Oh, just when I ran out of money, too. It's nice. Is that all the money that it's saved up to? Pretty nasty. Chapter 2 is the SSD cup. Then where does it lead us after? Because the SSD cup is Captain Syrup's ship, right? So we must chase her off the boat on something. Oh. Oh, this is a new one. This is Judgment Silver Sword for the WonderSwan. The WonderSwan had an attachment called an optional attachment called the Wonder Witch. Well, first off, if you don't know what the WonderSwan is, it's basically a successor to the Game Boy by Gunpei Yokoi after he left Nintendo. So the designer of the Game Boy's interpretation of the next Game Boy, it's still very similar to the Game Boy. as opposed to the Game Boy Advance. Um, and it was published by Bandai. Uh, it did, I think, pretty well in terms of library, but it had definitely Bandai versus Nintendo meant that it had much more neat first-party outputs. A lot of mech stuff, like Gundam and Gundam Super Robot Wars, and also a lot of Digimon. A lot of stuff tied to the Digimon anime, which is kind of cool. Um, but returning to the topic of Wonder Witch, so the WonderSwan has had had an optional add-on which could let you program your own games for it, and this happened to be one of the most popular uh, indie games basically on the system. Inspired by Treasure Games, you can see you have different shot types, and it's a very intense version of the game. There's a successor to it called Cardinal Sins, which I wanted to add. Uh, I thought that I had initially thought that was the version, um, but uh, no, that version ended up just being Silver Sword. It's available on Steam, by the way, both of them. So I've got them over there, but that's not how the shuffler works. Where is this? What's going on here? It feels unusual for an arcade game just to give me this area where I don't know what I'm doing. Oh, now it's yelling at me. So maybe it would have killed me if I'd stayed there. Well, I just straight up did not notice that rock. And the graphics are very clear, so I don't think that was my fault either, but that's more because Bubsy is made as a joke. Or Bubsy and Sonic made a joke. This one is Ninja Spirit, which is a pretty intense uh, action platformer sort of deal. Um, I want to say like Ninja Gaiden is a comparison, but I feel like for some reason, whenever people make ninja games, they like to do them like this, where it's like very, very hectic, very uh, demanding of player skill. Um, in this one, thanks to your Bushin and the different weapons that you have a katana, you have shuriken, you have sarigama, you have I don't know the name of this, but it's some kind of grenade. It's a shuffle in the opening. Um, Eager red shuffle on open. Should lead me at frack. Clear. Okay. once again, the old problem of me deciding to scratch my beard right before I fight an enemy. Oh, that didn't shuffle for some reason. Bonk is working correctly, or is loading correctly. Bonk didn't shuffle. When large, maybe? Why didn't that work? Maybe it's a level. Okay, I can go right. Can I go into the subway? Yes, I can. This looks like a boss area. I noticed when testing that, or when, okay, there's an issue with Super Bonk, so I'll mark this as complete. But I noticed, when fixing some other stuff, that animation where Bonk swings around by his teeth, that goes all the way to Bonk 2. So I think everyone agreed that was a really good animation, so he kept it around the whole time. But I'm noticing that like this year is Spider-Man, Venom, Maximum Carnage. Um, I actually feel like this is one of the best beat 'em ups on the Super Nintendo. It has one major flaw, which is mitigated by the shuffler, which is that it's way hard. They don't give you any continues in this. So especially for a console game, when you die and there's a good chance you'll die very early because it's quite demanding. Uh, there might be continues, but if there are continues, they're hidden. You have to find all of them. Um, I'm not that I don't not into comic books themselves, so I couldn't really tell you how accurate it is to the comic book storyline. I know that it is based off of a particular storyline that I think was running in. I presume this is in the '90s, based off how edgy this is, and I think that's also when Venom was introduced. Maybe. I keep forgetting Iron Fist here. Most of these are not characters that I recognize that well even now. Um, Iron Fist seems like he's one of the more relevant. The music of this game was, at least this intro theme, was composed by a band called Green Jelly. Originally they were called Green Jello. I think it's pretty cool. This theme is actually from their albums called Carnage Rules. But I mean, it fits the aesthetic they were going for. This is, again, very rooted in what they were doing in the '90s. I think this is playing the same anime. I'll wait to see one of the characters shows up. That like character, yeah. Okay. I don't think there's options in this. Let me just go back. No, there aren't. I couldn't decide if it was asking for a button prompt. Full vague. So the premise is that you've got the venomous symbiote, and then you have an evil version of an eviler version of the venomous symbiote. And now the bad guy who has that has gotten loose again, and he's worked somehow. I don't really know. It doesn't seem like a huge deal. He's not teaming up with them. He seems to have a Shriek here, but who's Shriek? I don't know anybody cares about Shriek. It seems like a nice Scotch lady. And then I don't know who this guy even is. I don't know why he's here. This is the team up. You've got the one villain and then just some people. So this is a very much in line with Final Fight, but you have all these web moves which give you a lot more control. This one you can bind enemies up. You can grab them from a distance. Oh, trying to throw it off. A nice thing about that is you can pick up enemies. Since I know this shop up in the intro, I'll just get started. I don't need to put the name to it. Yeah, I guess I do. There's nothing special for buttons, right? I don't know what power up manual is. I've never put power up the manual. So I think this inherits a little bit more from the arcade Punch-Out rather than purely following Punch-Out for the NES, which threw a lot of people because they were expecting it to be Punch-Out for the NES. But it's doing its own thing. It still roughly fits the concept, where it's a puzzle boxing game. So one of the big things in this is that instead of getting stars and having a limited amount of specials, well, another thing is that you can knock people over ridiculously quick if you know the trick. But instead of getting stars, if you hit people consecutively without getting hit in return, your super meter fills down here. And when your super meter is filled, you have an unlimited amount of super punches you can throw. There's actually two reasons, things that we set for regarding infinite lives here in the shuffler. One is you see rest 3 down there. That's the amount of times you're allowed to lose in a circuit. You can see as quick as that was, the record was even faster. I don't know the tricks for most of these, but I do roughly know how you fight them. I've gotten up to the special circuits. You have two special punches. One is this rapid punch. The other is the super slow punch. The super punch is much better. I don't know if the rapid punch is ever better in any circumstance. I guess theoretically it could have a higher maximum power, but I don't know if it ever works out like that. Oh, I didn't know that was gonna happen. But you actually heard the you heard a retro achievement on priming. That's because a lot of the achievements on this are know the secrets to knock these people out fast. So it's beat them in like a few seconds or something like that. Or beat them without pressing a button. Like without dodging or something. So if you beat all the circuits without losing once, you get to a special circuit, but the shuffler I put in a fixed so that you get to unlock it no matter what. So it's just to avoid the need for repetition. People can play the all in order, play all the opponents without needing to know what to do. I messed that up. So what Fiction Hurricane does now is he's doing a move where he's going to alternate between punching low and high, and I need to alternate between blocking low and high, which is very hard to do. It's very easy to do in the game itself, but in the shuffler, as soon as you're thrown off, I got to get back in the groove quick, and I have no idea when he's coming back. So he's going to be one of the opponents, I think. With the shuffler, it's totally changes the dynamic. And I don't know if you can tell, but I was trying to punch him before he went into that. So missing that was a big mistake on my part. I'm not super good at bullet hell shmups. I like them though. So I think there are moments where I can pass myself off as knowing what I'm doing. But once we get to the boss, I'm sure reality will set in. Huh? Thought I saw a little bee icon that I wanted to grab. I don't know what it does. I think it's probably just extra points. I'm sure some grace would be good on Maximum Carnage there. Basically all beat 'em ups are good for. Okay. I guess all those yellow dots are going to be the courses. I'm not that familiar with that gear. It's not like a tally of how many times you crashed. I think that's the value that we're using to determine whether or not we have to shuffle, if that increases. I didn't inspect it too hard, but it seemed to work. This is usually this is as far as I tested, and I run into an issue here where I eventually do run out of energy. It seems like it's significantly harder than the first level, which I think is with Capcom's policy. You gotta let them beat the first level and then ramp up. Okay, I managed to pull it off. Yeah, it must be So we're doing steady progress here. Not bad. Huh? Why trash phones go up? Unless that's knocking over other people. Whoa. Whoa. Did I have to time both of those so I land on that? Oh, man. Target self-destruction? What does that mean? Level 3B? You keep level 1? I didn't even notice. There we go, that's what I was looking for. So another thing in this is that if you press 2 buttons, it does different attacks as well. Like there's one thing here that's sword, yeah. And I think this was one of the most more better remembered cases of having a melee weapon in a shmup. Whoa. That was intense. Oh, how to play? Use the sword a lot. I think I did really well. So this one is the Great Battle 5. I don't think this came up before. I think the Great Battle 4 did. So again, it's a series which is a sort of goofy crossover between Gundam, Ultraman, Kamen Rider. In this one, it's as opposed to in Super Robot Wars, it's not like those plot lines continue in this. Uh, this is just sort of a goofy thing where all the characters are just kind of a team of superheroes, and they're against the evil team. Like there's no appreciable difference between say Gundam and Ultraman here. They're just two or like their backstories between them. I think the recurring villain in like half these games is Dark Brain. I don't know if he's in these two. He does show up in Super Robot Wars, but he's quite an old character. This one, as opposed to 4, instead of having the giant robot fight, uh, it feels very much like it was inspired by Wild Guns. It has a like Cabal Clone level, I think first before the platformer level. I think the music's pretty good in these two games actually. It's the one thing that's sort of stands out. The graphics are also pretty nice. Okay, so this doesn't shuffle in the demo, that's nice. It didn't show off anything there. That's weird. But this one I feel is also a lot harder. At least the wild gun sections are. Although the platform settings seem like a little bit more confusing. I think the way it works with two-player is that each player controls two characters. The first one, I assume, is stuck with Roar, as well as one other person, which is true in one-player mode as well. And then I assume the second player has the other two. I haven't actually experimented with that myself. But it might just be that one player gets... it might just be that the second player gets to pick whoever we pick here and the other two are left out. Sprites are really nice in this. So let's go with Common Rider because we're going to be using Ultraman a lot in the other game, and Common Rider's the worst one there. I don't know if there's a huge difference that would make me prefer one over the other in this game. You see, like, they're not people in mobile suits. They're just dudes. The music here reminds me a lot of some tunes from, I don't want to say Super Robot Wars Alpha, but I don't think this is the same composer as that. Or even Super Robot Wars 4. So we can lock onto an area. So I'm going to... I don't think you can do this in Wild Gun, so it might be an addition. Yeah. So we're on a timer because... Oh! I took damage and didn't shuffle. Okay. That's what needs fixing. Great battle applies on show. Let's mark this as complete. And we're being thrown into the very simpler and honestly probably more impressive Cabal. Whoa. Sin form there. I tried launching missiles to clear it out, but I guess I didn't launch enough. Okay, here's Sin Punishment. I'm going to try resetting this and seeing if it boots up. If not, we'll have to mark it as complete again. Oh, it did start. Oh no, that started because the shuffler turned off. You can see the Nintendo logo is supposed to show up almost immediately. But for some reason, when it's... I think the code that's supposed to affect infinite lives is causing it maybe to assume that it's a cartridge copy or something and not respond. Yeah, I'll have to check into this. It could only be happening in startup because I have had that running in the shuffler before. I don't know why it suddenly stopped. Try to launch my options and oh, I'm just gonna do something quick to avoid little disturbances. Just turning off my landline. Yeah, but notice that I only have 2 lives. I'm wondering if that's the actual maximum. Because sometimes that's I'm not able to turn the number higher because the game doesn't actually allow for that. And I feel like I would I would want the number to be higher just so that I can tell. With the other button you can change which direction you're aiming. I was thinking like maybe I can attack up, but also that doesn't seem like it'll be worth it. I'm surprised it took us this long to get here. This isn't too bad for an arcade game, I think. Oh. There's something weird about the sprites in the game. Makes them goofier to me than basically anything else. So in this boss fight, you are permanently, you can see the other health meter that was on the bottom and disappeared. You're permanently in possession form. And so for these, we have to use the ghost health to determine shuffling, because your profession form doesn't actually make any sense here. It does actually lower when you take damage, but it will like lower past the bot and go to like ridiculously high numbers. That is something that I'm going to. I feel like if we're going to get problems in this game, it's going to be that value is not going to be as simple as I assumed it is. So that end there is our limited use second weapon. Been really good for blowing up bosses, but super hard game. At least on this mode, I feel like the original mode is quite a bit harder because you can't just credit beat it. And especially, we don't have an equivalent of infinite lives set up for that. Okay. Here we go. Some fun vehicles in this game. I noticed that they made the PAL 3D like a pseudo 3D. It's a power up in a lot of early Capcom games, so it's amusing that they did it a little bit differently. This one, I don't know if it showed up earlier. 3D Battle of the World Runner. Um, it's, I guess you call it a platformer. It's like 3D run towards the might have required you to wear 3D glasses, but you can like run towards the screen. It's pseudo 3D thing. Um, it has boss fights where you shoot at the enemy, like a sort of like Star Fox, but in a simpler way. I guess Space Harrier's comparison. Um, I know Smite mentioned this, and he has like a emoji of it, which is why I picked this one. I think he said that it gets ridiculously hard later on. Is this just what the track sheet is? Anyway, he said it gets ridiculously hard later on, and I don't know if Infinite Alive is enough to get around that, but because his standards are hard or much different than mine are. But we'll see. So in the beginning of this, you want to hit the pipes to get items. That's your shot. This, which changes your color, is health, basically. 1 extra hit point. That mushroom will kill you, so don't get that. I think this did show up in the first session. I feel like I'm repeating myself a little. At any rate, to remind the games that were in the first session, because I updated my Bizhawk, none of the save states would load, and I had to start them again. That shouldn't happen again because Bizhawk doesn't update that often, and I did that manually just because it was early. The stars or points. This is one of the things where the level of control that they ask for you might be a little more than you reasonably have. This is a bonus level, I think, when you get a balloon. So if you don't hold forward, you go at this speed, which is much more manageable. If you hold up, you go much faster. The heart, I think, is an extra life. I think. I wasn't really looking. I think the game expects you immediately to start running when you're doing these jumps. I don't know what happens if you reach the boss without the rockets, because you need to attack the boss. So I don't know, do you just die because you don't have a way to attack? Because you lose the rockets if you get hit. I'm not even sure if it's if you die, it's if you get hit. I think you lose. But this is invincibility, which I don't actually like in this game. Did I get hit when I was invincible? Oh, because it ran out probably. 3D World Runner couple when invincibility runs out. I suspect, because the thing is that in this is why I don't like the invincibility. You lose your power-ups after you use it, so it seems like the negatives of getting invincibility vastly outweigh the positive. And here we kind of see that in the shuffler, where I was thinking I would jump in the water and see if I can grab that like teddy bear. Yeah, I just got another horse, and that's why it must have shuffled. Because that was the animation of getting a new horse, right? I'm not misreading that. Whenever I look at my claw, I get damaged. Okay, this one we gotta just see if it works. It's working now. I don't know why it wasn't working before. 64 is what I'm trying to get. I thought I saw a health up somewhere. 7 times 1 is 7, right? 14. Is that a health up? Yeah, it is. I think that's health. Something. 14. 12. Oh, no, 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 no. Ah, I hit the wrong one. That also cost you some health. I'm Rocky, right? Oh no. The bad position. So even that guy who's like a boss, he gets back up. So I don't know if there's... At least he seemed like a boss. I guess part of the style of this game is it's inoffensive because no one actually seriously gets hurt. Okay, I didn't pull that off last time. I think this is roughly as far as I've gotten. Oh, there's a treasure down there. But I can go from the... There's something up here too. But I'll have to go up there after. I'm gonna get past that guy. I don't know. Like here, I'm barely getting started. I think there's a boss fight past here. For how early this showed up, made like no progress. This green guy on the left somehow got his own game. I think he's based off of I never remember his name. In Journey to the West, you have the Monkey King, you have Goku, you have the uh, pig, like Trubaji, something like that, and then you have this like water goblin, and that guy's based off the water goblin. Okay, I have 350 gold. Alright, I'm just wondering if the only thing I can afford is this sword on the left. Well, I was afraid that it wasn't branching, and then I thought, oh no, there's something out to the right. I'm going to I couldn't jump, and then turns out I couldn't turn back anyway. Oh. This one we can probably clear. At least the normal mode. So in that sound that just played, I don't know if you would have noticed, our health bar just got big. So in King of Demons, Majuo, our score is tied to our maximum health. That was not smart of me. So as our score increases, our maximum health increases. The trick is that when you get a game over, I think you can continue an infinite amount of times, but what you cannot do is take your health with you. So if you're good enough to is that actually valuable information? Does that affect my strategy in any way? But what I'm saying is that because because dying potentially means that you lose your health in Majuo, it's a much bigger deal than it would be in a lot of games. Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, trap. That guy might kill me. The way those apples spread is a little tricky. I'm trying to split between these three slices on the left because they're much easier than trying to get underneath it completely. Especially when you're on different angles. Oh. A microwave is technically related to food, but feels a little less haute couture than what you'd expect this chef to be dealing with. I babbled with my way through elementary school French, by the way. Sort of Frere Jacques, I haven't retained a whole lot. And the Violetta Biciclette song. That's probably unnecessary because you can see we have 9 lives anyway because the shuffler. But whatever, the game gives us the option of doing it, so let's do it. So I guess we're like halfway through the game. I don't remember if the dirt is the ending scholastic. It wasn't like an enormously large game, I do know that. What do you think it picks up towards the end in terms of difficulty? Okay. I don't think we got this weapon before. I'm also judging this based off the achievements that we just got. It's probably for picking this up. This is probably, in practice, the most reliable weapon in the game. It's just the only true ranged attack that you have. And even then, it's not like super great range. See, this one kind of got us dead to rights here. That it's the hardest power up to maintain. There. Okay. When tied, both players gain a point. So this is fine for us. Okay, we're ahead. I think if you get above 11, you automatically win, regardless of timer. Oh, has to be more than that. I don't know how high I can get to. Wetzel, I think, is the one who's on the stage that I don't like. It's the one that I got walled pretty heavily on, despite another show called Speed Bump, which I appeared on. I think it might be this level. Yeah, that's good. That isn't. This is the arcade version of Bonk's Adventure. I think this did show up in the first episode. Holy shit! Oh, we saw the intro on this. I remember seeing the girl Bonk. We got hit there immediately after we got a math question wrong, so we double shuffled. Oh, doing poorly. Oh, I forgot which I forgot what control settings I had. I was trying to press up and down, expecting that would move me somewhere. Okay, this game's starting to pick up a bit, which is good. More involving games are more fun for the shuffler. So, one thing that happens with these mini bosses, eventually, that gets very frustrating, is that they start blocking your shots, and there's a strategy around that. But if you don't know it, it slows the game down quite a bit. I remember being very frustrated when I ran into it. wonder if I follow where they end up is probably the best way to get full score on these things. But these ones are kind of like sliding right into the ending, so it's hard to do. These like jellyfish looking things I think are resistant to my regular bullets, so I gotta watch out for them. Alright. Sorry about that, I just had a phone call to deal with. Attempted phone call, I should say. So I think because this is similar to Gradius, it might introduce a bit of the old Gradius syndrome where you lose your power-ups when you die. I don't think the strikes me as severe because we just have to. I don't know if you can level up that gun. So this one is more like straight to. You can't move into the screen in this, so it's actually probably closer to Konami's normal run and gun, as with this weird hybrid. I'm a little hesitant to add Grace when I get hit repeatedly because it could just be my mistake. I don't think that's necessarily an error of the shuffler. Okay. So Pac-Land is actually very good friends of and um, this is a predecessor of Super Mario Brothers, the original. Um, it's kind of uh, Donkey Kong predates it as a platformer. There might be other things that predate Donkey Kong that I'm less aware of, but uh, this was the one that kind of pushed it into, this isn't just a single screen that you got to figure out. This is a whole big stage, and you're progressing through to the ending because of however many dozens of levels. And I think Shigeru Miyamoto said that's something along the lines of like he played Pac-Land and he was like, okay, now we got to step it up. Uh, we have to make the the best possible game we can with the cartridge base, the early cartridge Famicom, uh, as opposed to the later disc system stuff where they did get to push the envelope more. So that's kind of the is the kind of a historical relic in that sense. It doesn't look like it has any shuffling that happens in the cutscenes, but in the attractive events, but I don't think that might just because he's not taking any damage. So I'm just checking to see if it loops. If I see the same one twice. I think that was it. Okay. How does this work? So the problem is that because this is a very early platformer game, it doesn't play as well as you'd hope it would. Left and right on the stick are to run, which shouldn't sound surprising, but it is to me because the first time I saw this was someone was playing the TurboGrafx version, where by default they put jump on the D-pad, and then the buttons are to run, which I think might be because they had reverse position on the arcade machine. I'm not too sure about that. Another weird thing about this is that it's very specifically based off the American Pac-Man cartoon, which is why Pac-Man's got a hat here. And I think in the Japanese version, that results in they use the American cartoon names of the ghosts. So in particular, there's Sue, who I think was introduced in those cartoons. I don't know if it's that ghost, but one of the purple ghosts is a lady named Sue. As opposed to, it was, I think in the arcade, it was originally in the localization Inky, Blinky, Winky, and Clyde. That's a really weird thing. You need to mash buttons to jump, and also need to land on the platformers in the right place, and I haven't figured that out yet. This is Journey to Silius. It used to be, it was originally meant to be a Terminator game, and then the license fell through. Smite did play through this twice in the. I think he played through all my submissions twice in the Shuffler. There are issues in this that I need to fix, but they're pretty small. There is one adjustment that I should check out. That the infinite ammo, not infinite ammo, but ammo should revive a new die, because otherwise it's totally easy to get stuck. This game is like a lot of Sunsoft games, it's very hard. I feel like that's because the control, largely because some of the controls are not as up to snuff as they should be. Like, this is very well animated, it's turning animation, but it means it takes a little while to turn. Your jump is also very, weird and heavy, but it's otherwise a pretty good game. Actually, I don't even mean that in terms of quality, I mean in terms of difficulty. It's, what not even do there? It's always back to Wario Land. but I already forgot what game I was talking about. Oh, Journey to Silius. Um, so it's very learnable, I think. I've beaten that game several times now. I think just once you've played through it the first time or so, then you've learned the ropes. It's lava. I think in this game what happens is they do something similar in Mario Land 2, which I've been playing for retro achievement. Ha! But because coins are serving a different function, here they're unlocking the coin stages at the end. Man. But because coins are serving a different function, they have hearts to serve the coins function, which throws me off a little bit because hearts are just straight up infinite lives in Mario Land 2. Or not infinite lives, or straight up just extra lives. I forgot that I had the super shot. Okay, got the enemy generators out of the way. Barely even saw that thing. So now, you see there's only a few generators on the bottom right of that. What's going to happen here is after we've destroyed those generators, we'll be able to fight the boss. That's the general flow of this game. We can get 3 of these like option type things here, but I don't know where they are, and you wouldn't carry them over to the next map, so it's not a big deal. But I am kind of curious looking around. Oh, here's the second one. I think that's all we're gonna get though. So I think the bosses are the biggest issue I have with this game. Not that they're necessarily super hard. I think I beat this game as well. But I mean, I beat it outside of the shuffler. I beat it when I was doing a retro achievements. But some of the bosses are kind of inscrutable. Like, you don't actually know what you're supposed to do to take damage. Is this a baby tank? What is this? Why is there no canopy? This feels very Metal Slug with Bonk. It's really cool. Oh. That was just a turret, so it wasn't blocking from damage. Okay, this one shuffled in the opening. Hope that gets started. See, I don't like it because it's very slowly scrolling. It does have its charms, I guess. Namely, so you have that melee attack if someone comes in. You know, duck and shoot at the same time. Oh. Is the assault on the home base of the Federation, which happened let's say around halfway through the series before the Federation starts its counterattack on Zeon. The famous scene for these act guys here. And it did have these two scenes where you had got to see it go inside the base and above. Because Jabro was heavily defended, but not as much as it needed to be. Well, I guess just as much as it needed to be, because it didn't survive, but... How do I get out of here? Was this all a big detour that I had taken just to get an extra life? I thought that this was an entirely different stage path. Korea. I guess we're fighting this villain team, but I don't know the premise behind it. this thing up. I guess we can blow these up because they keep on coming back. The way this game's levels work is that you have to clear out all the enemies. It might not immediately be intuitive, but you have to clear off all the enemies before you proceed. Oh, it's just this thing again. This, you see that little ball with the like cross sort of shape on it? That's the nasty thing. That's follows you to block your shots. Once it tracks onto you, though, it stops moving. So you can potentially lead it. You can attack the places where it comes out. That's also nice. Looks like that hawk head is the one that's generating it, so I'm gonna bully it. Then these shots are the next worst. So the shuffler's not giving me additional super shots, by the way. Those are just building up because I'm not using them that much. Where are we now? We're at Saturn, right? We're not even into the inner planets yet. Jupiter, the last of the outer planets. Okay. I think Jupiter is considered the first of the outer planets, right? Like it's Mars is included with the. I don't know what the actual definition is aside from just the fact that the inner planets are the larger, more solid ones. I think I was more into dinosaurs than planets as a kid. It's my thing. So I'm not the biggest space geek. Although I did still watch Star Trek. I'll note that. Oh, I'm making good progress in this. I wonder if I'll be able to beat the Gyrus before the shuffler is over. Shooting this game seemed like slightly tile-based when you're, which is only really evident when you're shooting upward because I move a little bit when I attempt that. Okay, good. I didn't shuffle on the actual damage there because I shuffled on my use of a continue. Okay, I can switch people. There, I think. I think I shuffled when I actually died, as opposed to... Okay, this is Alex Kidd, The Lost Stars. This game kind of... Alex Kidd was the original mascot of Sega before Sonic the Hedgehog. His games were never very consistent in terms of like lore or uh, gameplay style. They were also usually not that great. This one's amusing though, which is why I included it. It's stupid in very good ways. It's this co-op with this lady. I don't know her name. How it did Gradius rankings. Um, my favorite thing about it. I wonder if we can hit it. So instead of the original game was originally it was supposed to be Goku, and they lost the license and they made their own original thing, and so uh, he had a rock paper scissors theme because that's what Goku's original special attack was themed after. Yeah, I guess this was fine. So I don't think you can attack regularly in this game until you get that power up. These are shots coming from a dog off screen. I wonder if we accidentally gold the dog off because I'm pretty sure you can see it. That's so there. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That's the good stuff. Alex Kidd screaming, ah. I'm really getting stuck on Power Rangers. I wonder if I should put Grace on that. Because that's not a hard game at all, really. I don't remember the difficulty level. Oh, I still have a round shot. And I managed to remember which one of my buttons was which, right? That's not always the case. The enemy's coverage of the screen is a lot better in this game, I find, compared to the first one. In the first one, there's a lot of bosses who you can kind of stand behind and you win. For an arcade game, it was especially ridiculous. Like, those games are allowed to be hard. That's what they're known for, right? This one feels like they're actually trying more. Did I manage to avoid damage somehow? How'd that happen? I think we saw this happen earlier. Yeah, if I take damage, it drops, but I don't know why I didn't take damage from getting like stabbed there. I think I got stabbed. The volume on this game is really quiet. There is a plugin in the shuffler that adjusts the volume per game. Um, I'm not really. I haven't paid attention to that because it seemed like a bit much for me. Gaining life seems like it shuffles you there. I note that. Let me check out shock troopers too. Shock troopers. Bucky O'Hare. Okay, so this is another new one. This game's called Kingdom Grand Prix. It's a vertical shooter. I don't know if this one's considered a bullet hell, but it's part of this trilogy of fantasy shooters. Uh, I don't know. I don't recall the name. This one is framed as a race. So you have a whole lot of characters who are the different racers that you get to pick between, and while you're fighting the enemy, uh, there's also a second concern about increasing your rank in the race, and the way that you do that is you can get once you hold the attack button, I think, and that causes you to boost. You can see a few of the people are boosting over there. Um, and you can see the other pilots occasionally as you pass by them when you're racing. Uh, Also, if you towards the back of the screen, you slow down. If you're towards the top of the screen, you speed up. So playing aggressively in this game is rewarded. Although I'm not going to be concerned with the racing because I'm not that good at not so I'm not sure I would be able to pull it off. You can see there's a whole lot of characters here. These goblins are, I think, the not those specific goblins, but that goblin empire. I think they're the villains in the other two games. Probably not going to shuffle here because it's just a demo. But I'm going to see if there's another. Uh, I'll wait for one more scene after this. Yeah. Even if you boost a whole lot, um, it's actually pretty hard to gain rank in this, I feel. Oh, you can bump into. Okay, I didn't know about these. You have ways to slow down the other players too, so I guess that's also important. This one has, I'm seeing both the Rising and the Aiding logo. I'm not too familiar with the difference between the two. I feel like Rising is more commonly used when they're because they are, I think, the same studio. I think Rising is more commonly used with their shmups. Uh, Aiding is used I think there are other games, like they made Tatsunoko vs. Capcom and Marvel vs. Capcom and such. I prefer Tatsunoko, to be clear. Um, Also, that's totally the Back from the Future pod, isn't it? I'll give this last one a watch. Yeah, doesn't seem to be shuffling during this. So I feel like this one's probably fine. I think I put a G mode anyway because I don't know why I picked her in particular. I think I just like this animation. Everyone has a little animation when the game starts, but I think hers comes across as even more excited. I don't know if the other players have to deal with bosses like we do. I think they do eventually leave if you don't kill them in time, so that it doesn't slow down the race. Or so that the distance of the race does not have to change. Sure. Something. Didn't do bad there. Oh, the branching stage 2. That's cool. Hit them right from the start. They're all together. I'm just gonna use the bomb to slow them down. Now that I know that's a thing. I like the music in this game a lot, actually. I think I only played up to this stage. This was another one that Poltergeist suggested, actually. But I think it's one of the cooler shmups of the ones that I've looked at for the shuffle. This boss is where it gets tricky for me, if I recall. Oh man, I managed to go a long time without shuffling. I kind of forgot that that the shuffler is what I was doing. Not quite good enough. That was pretty solid, I think. And if it bounces back... Oh. Wonder if I can hit from there. Oh, are there freeze powers in this game? That I don't know. Oh, I guess there aren't. That's bad. At least I can break these with needle. But then I'll need... Oh! I didn't see the left wall. Dead Lizardy. So that enemy gets mad when you attack another one. So you gotta play that section a little slow. The reason I'm walking this jerky way is that the Gym Power has a rapid fire button, which I'm holding down. But they didn't give him a running shot enemy. I wonder if there's a name. There must be a name for these egg things that are Bonk's arch nemesis. I don't know if there are different the regular meat can't survive landing in water. It seems like this one bounces off. So maybe it's easier to maintain this form. That's the point. So this form can't survive in water, so I think that other form was actually better suited for this stage. Ah, I got hit, so I lost that form. Crystals are probably just points, but I kind of want them anyway. In the boss fight. Oh, I got hit for that? Let me throw this off, because I don't think I have yet. So in S grade, you have this shot, where you get a charge up by absorbing enemy attacks, and then release it as a big blast. It's a fantastic defensive move. You don't get to use it a lot. It's your equivalent of a smart bomb. And I'm not making use of this, but you got a secondary shot, which is your more damaging attack. It's not as spammable as your regular one. The character I'm using has the lowest damage input though, damage output, but she's the easiest to use. It's just a very stylish, probably one of the most stylish shots. The entire game is set during Christmas, which is most evident in this stage, especially if you're playing Baby Fifth, who starts off on this stage. Kind of forgot that I can hold the button down in this game. But that's to make you move slower. So maybe I didn't want to do that. Well, that's cool. I don't usually do well enough to get to the point where I'm getting those, that's the energy for your, I think it's the energy for your, shield. The one that absorbs shots. Oh, we're actually at 2 minutes. So, I'm going to call it a night. And doing that, I'm going to throw you over to Smite, who is currently his weekly game show, Arcade Hits. I think we made some good progress in some games today. Feeling a lot more confident about being able to get at least uh, some clears. But thank you again for joining me, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.